a few minutes, we'll begin the competition for junior ice dance, rhythm dance.
はじめにご来場のお客様にお願い申し上げます。会場内は禁煙です。競技中のお席でのご飲食はご遠慮ください。カメラ、スマートフォン、およびタブレット端末による写真撮影、並びにビデオ撮影は禁止されております。また、携帯電話、スマートフォンはマナーモードに設定してください。緊急地震速報、J アラートが発表された場合は、場内アナウンスにてご案内いたします。花束やプレゼントの投げ込みは禁止されております。また、身を乗り出してのご観戦や演技中の大きな声での会話などは、周りのお客様のご迷惑になりますのでご遠慮ください。
We would like to remind you that smoking is not permitted in the area, and flash photography as well as video recording is forbidden. Please set your phones to silent mode. Please be also reminded that it's strictly forbidden to throw any items, such as gifts and flowers, onto the ice at any time. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
競技に先立ちまして、審判団および技術役員をご紹介いたします。
Prior to the competition, let us introduce to you the officials of this event. Please welcome
レフリー、
the referee, Miss Karen Butcher.
一番ジャッジ、
Judge number 1, Mr. Bin Ha, China.
二番ジャッジ、
Judge number 2, Miss Chi Hee Ri, Republic of Korea.
三番ジャッジ、
Judge number 3, Miss Shizu Goto, Japan.
四番ジャッジ、
Judge number 4, Mr. Andre Mark Allais, Canada.
五番ジャッジ、
Judge number 5, Miss Janice Engel, United States of America.
六番ジャッジ、
Judge number 6, Miss Sandrine Pessa, France.
七番ジャッジ、
Judge number 7, Miss Nadezhda Ayatska, Kazakhstan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Osaka, Japan, week number 4 on the Junior Grand Prix as we take a look at the beautiful day in the park just around the city of Osaka, a huge city. I'm your host, Ted Barton. And in Nottingham, England, joining me, Mark Hanratty. Mark?
Hi, Ted. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It could be anywhere in the world for us, for
Exactly.
those that are watching, but great to be together again and looking forward to this. The fourth stop. Cannot believe we're at the halfway point of this Junior Grand Prix series.
Yeah, just to let you all know, I'm in Montreal broadcasting. Mark is in Nottingham, England broadcasting, and the competition, of course, taking place in Osaka, but we're all set up with screens and all the information that we need. So we'll take you through this competition like we would any other. And in fact, this is the first, at least for the Junior Grand Prix, the first time in history that we will be broadcasting remotely, both of us, from different parts of the world as we take a look at the officials for this event. It's quite remarkable, Mark, how clean and clear everything sounds. It sounds like you're sitting right beside me.
It's just phenomenal, and I feel like I'm not particularly technologically minded, as you know, but this just blows my mind that I've got 4 screens to keep me entertained, and I feel like I have access to all the details as we get ready to see the skaters and see the tech panel on the screen.
4 screens to keep you entertained. What are you watching, Netflix or something? Come on.
Well, be
And
keeping up to
here
date with all the events going on around the world as well.
Oh, that's a very good point. As we take a look at the start order for the rhythm dance, of course, this is the first event that we, in fact, start with the rhythm dance, 1980s theme. How have you enjoyed that so far? How do you feel that athletes have been interpreting that era?
Well, it's so interesting to get an insight into what the athletes think, and I've read that many of the athletes have really enjoyed a little bit of education outside of their normal conventional ice dance education. The 80s isn't assigned to any compulsory dance or pattern dance that any of the skaters would have learned en route to getting to this standard. So they all had to go out and all had to educate themselves in a different genre, and that in itself, knowledge is power. Everybody appreciates a little bit of education. As we see, I read, Ted, as we see inside the arena and see the line up for the first group, that tomorrow and Saturday this arena will be sold out, which is really amazing.
But in fact, actually in Bangkok, also in Linz, and I saw in Turkey, the audience sizes were much bigger than we've had in the past. So, I mean, I know they're not big buildings, but, maybe 1,500, 2,000, and there's been a lot of the audience attending. So that has been awesome, because usually it's only in Japan that happens. But now it seems to be, and it was great in Bangkok that place was full with locals. So that was great.
Yeah.
To look at the first team warming up.
And the set and Mark Love, the winners of the first Grand Prix in Bangkok. So excited to see how they will have developed and improved since their first outing on the Junior Grand Prix.
Something very special from that team in the free dance. And so we're looking forward to seeing that again. Yeah, it's been amazing, the ability for us to, we haven't even actually worked together side by side yet, but it seems, no, and it doesn't really, it doesn't really seem like you're very far away. So it's been, technology's worked out really well so far, that's for sure. Yeah, it's great. So we're going back to the 80, sorry, Mark, going back to the 80s team, because you were talking about, of course, they wouldn't have, known that era, etc. I'm going, yeah, those are kind of like the Stone Ages, I mean, it's a long time ago for these kids, right? So they're going, 1980s, really? So, but as we see the colors of the 1980s right here on your screen.
And that's, I suppose, what's great is that with the 1980s, it's a clean slate for all the competitors as to how they compose and construct their programs and to how they present themselves. So obviously there'll be some skaters that are more experienced, some that are stronger as skaters, but I doubt any of them, could be wrong, but I highly doubt that any of the skaters in the junior ice dance competition will have had an 80s dance class prior to this season or any kind of 80s dance education and movement. So clean slate for all. An opportunity for us to see who's really embracing the essence, and that's the word that the Ice Dance Technical Committee have used when they've released the communications regarding what the skaters have to do this year. They've referenced the essence of the 80s, and so maybe the the judges are more familiar with said essence, but it'll be interesting to see who encapsulates it the most.
No, I think you're right on. There's nobody will have done this before this year, that's for sure. But what a great, everybody starts off at the same level because no one knows about that era. And so, you know, it's an even playing field. Who does the homework, who does the research, and who does the off-ice classes. So, you know, but as the year unfolds, it'll get better.
Absolutely. And interesting,
so
the couple. So true. Talking about who's doing the off-ice classes, the couple, Leon Nasset and Artem Markelov, who are on your screen now, I was looking at their website, and they list, in terms of their off-ice, they have yoga, they have ballroom, they have ballet, they have conditioning, they have lifts classes. They just like you're saying, Ted, have really taken as much information as possible from as many resources to ensure that they are, world best team. This is a couple that I think have, their eyes set upon the likes of a junior world title there. Great to see them exploiting the opportunity to touch the ice within the non-touch. Looks great.
And there is our first team, Chloe Nguyen, Brendan Jiang from Canada, winning the silver medal in Linz, Austria. And they're a brand new team. They've both been on the Junior Grand Prix before with other partners, but less, probably about 8 months together. So that's pretty new.
Amazing.
Here's the other Canadian team, and then team from Korea. Grab the. This is the Chinese team.
That's the young Australians.
Australian team. Okay.
Yeah.
And
it's fun to see some of the teams, in their second Junior Grand Prix, and especially can't wait to see the likes of the Americans on the screen now, who, we've already got a feel for and already comprehend and appreciate that they're a really strong team, but also nice to see the likes of the young Australians who are competing with much less experience thus far, and it'll be interesting to see how much that first Junior Grand Prix that they had 3 weeks ago will have impacted their approach towards their second Junior Grand Prix assignment, because you kind of assume that their improvement rate will be higher event between event because comparatively they've got less experience, so less exposure to seeing what more world class is.
Yeah, your first Junior Grand Prix, you're a little tight, and so you don't show what you're capable of. The second one, you're more relaxed, and normally we see an upgraded performance as the athletes clear the ice. The first team, as we get started in week number 4 on the ISU Junior Grand Prix 2023, Osaka, Japan. We will not have pairs at this event. That will be reintroduced next week in Budapest. Just taking last few moments before the names introduced. From Canada, the first team, 18-year-old Chloe Nguyen, 20-year-old Brendan Jiang. This is their first Junior Grand Prix season together. They took the silver in Linz, week number 2 on the Junior Grand Prix. They're coached by Megan Wing and Aaron Lowe out of Burnaby, BC. 56.72, their personal best in the rhythm dance, first team out. And they'll skate to Let's Dance by David Bowery and Dancing in the Street.
Canada's Chloe Nguyen and Brennan Yang demonstrating a brilliant opportunity to see a case of skaters in their second Junior Grand Prix a little later in the season, even more polished, even more crisp, and it is hard to believe, Ted, that this couple has been together for less than a year.
You know, they've had lots of experience. They've danced for many, many years, of course, just not with each other. But sometimes the match just clicks right off the bat, and this team did. I remember the very first time I saw them on the ice, I said, wow, this team really looks good. Like sometimes it takes a while to adjust to the technique of each individual skater, but not in this case. They've just started out so well right from the start.
And just so conscious of the fact that I know you've told me already, Ted, that they are well trained and prepped really well, but to me it was so evident that they were incredibly fit. They didn't look like they fatigued on the second section of the Rocker Foxtrot, and just crisp throughout. No, everything was well matched there as they take that right forward outside edge extension. Everything just very clean. This seamless transition coming around the corner, pretty tight edge into the straight line lift, but managing to level off the curve. And that coming in at a comfortable level 4. What will be interesting is they've got, I was going to see how it would compare and score to the last event. They've got 3 key points out of 8 at the last time, only 2 here, as we see the Twizzles. But it looks like Brennan's had a level 3 in the step sequence, so that's pretty valuable as well. So I suspect it'll be similar to what they had when they competed in Linz.
And it's interesting, of course, we're not controlling the replays like we do normally, so you're able to, pick what you want. So we get what we get here. Well, we'll see. Megan and Aaron do such a wonderful job in training their athletes. It's incredible. All the teams are so remarkably fit. They're on schedule all year long. They do a wonderful job. They're in Burnaby, of course, for the Korean team. We'll see a little bit later as well. Let's take a look at the scores for the rhythm dance for Chloe and Brendan. They're 55.25. And that will put them, obviously, in the first place as they are the first team. There is our second team from the United States, 17-year-old Leah Nesset and 20-year-old Artem Markelov, coached by Elena Dostotny, champions in week 1. The 68.99 personal best in the rhythm dance. So skate to Still Loving You, and I Hate Myself for Loving You.
Well, that's distinct confirmation that America's Leah Nasset and Artem Markelov really are one of the front-running teams on the Junior Grand Prix this year.
Yeah, they sure set that stage early on in the Junior Grand Prix in week 1, but they just continue to get better, obviously. I wanted to ask you about the touching the ice part and about laying down on the ice, which is really interesting. One could interpret it, not the judges, of course, or us, but as looks like a fall. What are your thoughts?
So that's allowed only within the non-touch style B. So opportunity for the skaters they're allowed to touch the ice for no more than 5 seconds. And I think because we've talked about the 1980s, obviously that's the style for this year, and breakdancing was a fact in the 1980s. So it just opens up an opportunity for skaters to celebrate the 80s within their choreographic pursuit. So for me, I think it's really cool. And I thought this couple, great job by Caitlin Weaver, the choreographer as well, and not just touching the ice, but such complexity within it. It was just brilliant choreographically.
Great explanation. That was good for the fans to know the rules around that, of course. And if you hadn't seen that before, you go, oh my gosh, they fall. But no, it's part of the choreography and certainly allowed. That's no question. But this team, I noticed how closely they skate together throughout the whole program. They're just within like a foot of each other, or a foot and a half, or very, very close. They don't drift apart as we take a look at the curve lift here, or straight line lift, pardon me, level 4 with a nice 1.23 GOE. So good 6.68 points off that one element. There's the twizzles, Mark. They're beautiful.
Yeah, twizzles were magnificent. And even choosing to make the third twizzle difficult, to put the Euler exit down onto their knee. Every element was so mindful of creative execution. Everything's so packed. The backflip exit just pushing the composition score up. You could see the mindful research, education, development to try to make sure that I actually imagine this couple has an eye towards breaking the junior world record scores. It doesn't look like they've been as successful with the key points here as they were in their first assignment. Level on the step sequence also lower, so it may not be as high as they enjoyed in Bangkok.
Yeah, their personal best 68.99 back in Bangkok. This will fall just maybe a little bit short. Yeah, 67.37, but of course that'll put them clearly in first for the moment. Perhaps the panels a little bit more detailed on the key points, or the skaters aren't executing, one or the other. But what a great performance. They take the lead early on in this event. Well, our next team comes from Canada. Leila Vilja, 17. Alexander Brandes is 18 years old. Second Junior Grand Prix season, second event this season. Coming fourth in Bangkok in week 1 on the Junior Grand Prix. They had a 52.37 in that competition for the rhythm dance skating. Walk this way, and it's tricky.
Leila Villon and Alexander Brandis, their second season as juniors together. They've been together a long time, and I think that 80s, 10 years of music, 10 years of brilliant music, and what a fun choice that they have had. I can imagine that Leila and Alexander have entertained their teammates brilliantly, having chosen this for the rhythm dance.
Yeah, and not easy to do, that's for sure. I mean, it's not part of their culture necessarily, in growing up, but so they took on something that's a big challenge, but that's a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, great fun. And lots of nice touches. Good to see that pat in the back from Leila to Alexander. You can see here little touches throughout, trying to, as we keep saying, capture the essence of the dance. However, when it comes to the rocker foxtrot, got to stay and hold on the key points. It's the key point here for Alexander. And again, we're seeing feedback from the technical panel just suggesting no key points at all, so less than they will have achieved. So scores may be falling shorter. The first of the twizzles, extended leg, one of the features, just a close-up. And even there, you can see just could do a little more extension, that refinement, real tiny detail for development. I mean, we're nitpicking, but that's what will separate the teams, or what will be the areas for improvement for these skaters as they head from juniors towards seniors and more experienced. Rotational lift coming in at level 4 comfortably, and then other factors like the GOE for that element, just an extra third of a point. That'll be something that the couple will be mindful of, just trying to get more positive features. But here, what great fun for Alex there, as you can see in the choreo.
Yeah, interesting when you had said, well, we're a bit nitpicky, but that is dance. Particularly the details, the small details make the difference. You said they make the difference. So that's what they're looking at. And we saw that slow motion replay. We saw a little bit out of sync on that. So that is where this team, is at. That's where the judges are at. They're looking at the small details, and they're quite tight on the key points, but consistently throughout the competition. And that's really is all that matters.
And I suppose, we talked about it in other events. I'm sure there'll be people watching this which may have enjoyed the Run DMC more than any performance that we've seen, and more than any performance we might see, and that's wonderful. Leila and Alex could become total crowd favourites with what they've delivered. We've just got to see, what are the areas, how does that fall on the skating skills, how does that fall in terms of grades of execution, so that the team can understand. Although, to be fair, this team, they've got Cara Moore, Scott Moore, Adrian Diaz, Madison Hubble. They've got an army of amazing coaches, so they won't need to know the score to know where they've got to improve. They'll already be getting that intel on a daily basis.
Yeah. Their personal best, 52.37, so they're looking to try to get close to that score in their second competition of the season.
The score, please.
And that's always a bit of a comparison to see how well they've skated, or we'll take a look at the rhythm dance scores for Leila and Alexander, 47.95, so that falls a bit short of their personal best in Bangkok. And there is a look at your first 3 teams so far in this event. Well, our next team comes from Australia, 13-year-old Renee Ewan and 14-year-old Oliver Ma. This is their first Junior Grand Prix season, second event, coming 11th in Bangkok, week 1 of the Junior Grand Prix. Great experience being gained here. They're coached by John Dunn. 33.76 is the score they earned in Bangkok. They're skating to I'm Coming Out and Upside Down by Diana Ross.
Just a little early on the finish for Renee Yuen and Oliver Ma from Australia, 13 and 14 years old respectively. And just, it must be absolutely incredible for these young ice dancers, relatively new to the discipline. They've competed now in Thailand, they're competing here in Japan, they're representing Australia. What amazing adventures they are as they're so early in their ice dance education.
Yeah, I just thinking the same thing, Mark. We have the same notes so far apart. But what a great, just 13 and 14 years of age. They did a great job. They stay nice and close together for the most part. They're giving all the choreography their best ever as we take a look at John Dunn escorting them off the ice. And what a great start to a very young career. And as this team continues to develop through time, they're gonna look back at this and say, that's where we started, and look where we are now. But a great start.
Absolutely, and it was interesting last week seeing a Swiss ice dance team who I've seen over the years making massive strides. I'm excited to see what will happen for Renee and Oliver, and who knows, maybe they will be the first Australian ice dance team to medal on the Junior Grand Prix in seasons to come. And the ages that they're at currently, as we see them in the Rocker Foxtrot, they've got multiple seasons ahead. And just some of the transitional content here, relatively simple in terms of its composition compared to some of the others, but that's perfectly appropriate for where this team is at in their development, offering them the chance to be confident with what they have. This was great. Love the entry. Look at the depth of the position in the spread eagle. That a difficult feature for Oliver. Really great, and saving that to the end of the program, suggesting that they're really well trained coming into this event, just a little bit early on music at the very finish.
Great job. Really, really nice. It's always so fun on the Junior Grand Prix to see these young skaters coming at the age of 13 or 14, and as we watch them over the years, they continue to grow and get better and get stronger, and we have a reference point to where they started, and so do they because of the live stream. And good encouragement by John Dunn in the kiss and cry.
Yeah, great stuff. Of all the teams that we've seen so far, Ted, I think everybody scored a little lower here than they have in their first assignment. This couple, the first of the couples that I think is going to post an improvement on their score. And that, again, just a confirmation of where they're at. If the technical panels may be a little stricter on the calls of the levels of the Rocker Foxtrot and the Twizzles and the step sequence, for this team, they have so much still to gain and traction to be had. So I think that they will be the first to post a PB.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we mentioned, the technical panel always is consistent in each competition. So if it is a little bit stricter, that's fine, as long as it's consistent throughout the competition. And they do such a great job in each one of the events. A lot of color in that kiss and cry, eh? Even the chairs.
Yeah, they've had fun with, and that is funny, isn't it, to even think about. First you have the music choice, then you have the choreography, and then at some point you've got to decide, right, how many colors of chiffon are we going to have on this skirt?
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Let's take a look at the scores. Rhythm dance for Renee and Oliver, 37.16, and that will put them in fourth place. That was actually a season's best. Yeah, that was 37.16. So well done. Improvement made. As we get set for group number 2 to take to the ice, we take a look at the skate order, the start order for group number 2.
The skaters of Warman group number 2 will take the ice.
And it's going to be interesting. Here, Ted, we see the second team onto the ice, Pragi and Brno, and they were just second behind the current leaders, Nisset and Markelov, at their first Grand Prix assignment. So I wonder how many of the teams on the ice now will have been mindful of the scores, how many of them are competitive enough to use that as motivation, or how many of them are totally in their own lane, just mindful of what they themselves need to do, as we see the brother and sister team, Caroline and Brendan Mullen from the States.
Yeah, and I think that if they know that all the scores are, I'm not sure the skaters will pay attention necessarily, but the coaches certainly are, and they'll know that the scores are a little bit lower for all the teams so far, and so that's a bit picky, but you can't change anything. It is what it is, and they'll just do the best they can with what they have, and the standings will, be related to the scores. So not really a big deal because each competition is consistent throughout, so it's not a problem.
Totally.
On that area.
And and like you're saying it's good in many respects for the coaches to just keep an eye on what's happening so that then they can make their skater mindful now where, you know what, that maybe this tech panel is deeming key points a little harder to come by, so then the skaters don't just see stats and numbers and they can try to make it more reflective about where they're at and how their skate has been respective to their training.
Yeah, exactly. And that happens really more in the junior category because you have to keep these young minds focused not on numbers, but focused on achievements on the ice. And so it might be just one move or one element that was performed at a higher level than what they do in training. So, you know, it's so important because skaters, they're competitors and they want to see those numbers go up, of course. But when you're juniors, you got to keep the eyes on the prize. And what that is improvement in what they're performing on the ice in any one competition or any one element.
And what's interesting, as we know, Ted, is I tend to I was going to use the wrong word again. I tend to research the skaters online and see where they're at, and it's been fascinating to see their social media posts. And so often, beyond the event, whether it's just words or not, but they say, we're so grateful for this experience, we're so proud to represent our nation. And that is, whether that's what they ultimately feel or not, that's got to be, you know, the thing that you want your athlete to take away. That's the thing that you want your child, you know, as we see the French team go to their coach. That's now for the French team that we've just seen on the screen. They have been multiple-time junior competitors. They've competed at Junior Grand Prix final, so they may have a different frame of perspective. They may be thinking, right, well, you know, we got second at our first assignment. We want to win this one. But ideally, from a holistic perspective as humans, you want to think, yo, you're in Japan. Amazing. Let's go and live our best life performing and representing our nation. So that is hopefully what they're all going to take away.
Yeah, certain. You know, there'll be some teams that are really aiming for the Junior Grand Prix final. So points do matter, and they've been there long enough and that good enough. That can be on their mind. But for the most part, most of the teams will be battling for personal bests and improvement and experience, and you know that's what the Junior Grand Prix is all about. Talk a little bit about the Challenger Series. You got the Junior Grand Prix Series, which is what we follow here, and then you have the Senior Grand Prix Series that will start right after this in October. But there is also a Challenger Series. How does that fall in for the viewers? How does that fall into the athletes' development?
Well, it's so exciting to think that now we're getting to see the start of that Challenger Series. So a series of competitions, not quite as prestigious as the Grand Prix, but great preparation. And the Challenger Series, many of the best in the world will use Challenger Series events to prepare them for Grand Prix and ultimately ISU Championship events. And I think you'll be heavily involved in that this week as well, Ted.
Yeah, two world champions here in Montreal for the Challenger Series, of course. And, you know, there's that gap. There's those skaters who can't qualify for the Senior Grand Prix, are too old for the Junior Grand Prix. So what is there for them? And that's the Challenger Series. And hopefully they get the scores that they need for, you know, European Championship, for continents, Worlds, or, you know, Junior Worlds or whatever. So it's really important to have that bridge from being in juniors, which is 13 to next year 17, and then seniors from 17 on. So those skaters that don't qualify for the senior categories, international senior Grand Prix, they need to have a competition series as well, and there is the Challenger Series. So it's great. They've got a really good pathway, if you will, for the athletes, you know, throughout their career.
And, you know, last week at Lombardia Trophy in Bergamo, Italy, we had the chance to see world silver medalists in the ice dance competition. I suspect a lot of the dancers on our screen now, on the ice warming up, will have tuned in to see that and be inspired by that too. So it's an exciting time. This part of the season is just, I think it's really exciting, almost more exciting than the end when you know what's more likely to happen. It's interesting to see how everybody falls into place.
Yeah, everything's starting to sort of unfold, and you find, well, who's sort of really made the big improvement and who's sort of hanging on a little bit. But things will change throughout the season. Our next team from China, Zhongtang Li, 16 years old, and Xingkang Wang, 19 years old, first Junior Grand Prix season, second event, coming 10th in Linz on week two on the Junior Grand Prix. 49.25, their personal best. They'll skate to Smooth Criminal, Man in the Mirror, Bad, all by Michael Jackson.
Well, so much better than the performance in Linz for Zhantong Li and Jinkang Wang from China. They had that torrid fall on the rotational lift at the end of the rhythm dance a couple of weeks ago in Austria. So I'm so relieved, and interesting that it looked at the technical panel satisfied with everything that was delivered by Li and Wang here, looking really strong on the tech score.
Yeah, that looks way better, no question. But 4 of the 5 elements are under review by the tech panel, so they'll take a little closer look to make sure they're accurate with their calls on that. But great job, great energy throughout that program as well. A little loss of balance on the twizzles near the end, but other than that, nice start.
And, you know, use of Michael Jackson, you know, who doesn't like a bit of Michael Jackson? Who doesn't like a bit of smooth? So getting everybody here, I'm sure, moving. And this great to start of the program, those references, those influences in the essence and the style here, choosing to stop with a touch just to sell that presentation home. Jump entry, coupe, arms extended and clasped in front. Just right, and here some implications there for Zhantong Li in the twizzle. And I think right now the technical panel reviewing that. It's currently in at a level 3. I think the brakes and rotation there will see that drop lower, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a minus 1.71 on the GOE too, so they'll lose some points on that. Quality. And
interesting, as we see now, just this is the rocker foxtrot, which we've spoken about more in some of the first assignments. The key points here so far, although under review, have been really favorably, but the first key point was given a T sign. So the technical panel will either give a yes or no, saying it was suitable. If there's a T, that suggests the timing was incorrect. So sometimes the skaters will deviate ever so slightly in the timing because they're so desperately trying to get the correct edges. But then that doesn't go by the beady eyes of the technical panel, who will see that and use that as a reason not to give the points on that front. But nevertheless, hopefully a much more positive experience and score for the Chinese team.
Yeah, no, overall performance was better from our perspective. They had great energy in Linz, I think it was, but they had that big fall. This is a much cleaner program, minus the step out on the twizzles. Yeah, it's down to a level 1 now. So she received a level 1, he a level 4 for the twizzles with that minus GOE. So they have just a 4.63 for the twizzles. Normally would be a little bit higher. You're still dancing in the kiss and cry there.
Yeah, and especially having seen, you know, the understandable frustrating upset from the fall on the first event, now to see them looking relieved, looking satisfied, because I remember last time, oh wow, that's something special.
They got personality, eh? And creativity with the little heart thing going on.
I like that.
That's good.
Taking it to a
that
new
was
level.
choreographed. Nicely done. Yeah, yeah, new level.
But I remember in the free dance, after they had the fall in the rhythm dance when they competed in Linz, the free dance, you could see the understandable worry from Jinkang Wang on the lifts in the free dance. I'm sure coming into this event, that rhythm dance lift at the end was playing on their minds. So all the relief now to have successfully got through it.
Yeah. Waiting for the scores ahead.
Technical panel taking their time.
Yeah.
And they showcase such a difference between the rhythm dance and the free dance. That's a recurring theme this season, Ted, is that because of the 80s rhythm, which everybody has to choose in the rhythm dance, we're seeing lots of very different stylistic choices for the free dance, and the music in the free dance, it's kind of ethnic dance, complete stark contrast. So really showcasing the ice dancers' abilities to express themselves in multiple different ways. So I look forward to seeing.
Yeah, it's great. And again, we've talked about this. It's a great decision by the technical committee to go with a theme of the 80s, and we're getting a great contrast between the rhythm dance and the free dance, which is awesome for viewers, of course. And yeah, so that is a lot of fun, significantly different. But even within the 80s, there are some pieces that really stand out as unique and different and difficult for that era. Versus something like Michael Jackson. A lot of people use Michael Jackson. Everybody loves that. It's not a problem. but it's not necessarily different. I mean, it's part of the 80s, but it's, you know, it consumed the 80s. And then some other pieces are absolutely different. Oh, yeah, that did happen in the 80s because it wasn't maybe the most popular piece at the time.
Yeah. Like Smooth Criminal, Michael Jackson, it's timeless. So these two are great fun.
Yeah, no kidding. Great personalities, holy moly. Confident.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, here they've
Time
got
to
the score coming
tedious.
up now. Well, 42.80 is their personal best so far in this season. Let's take a look. 49.24. And that'll put them third, but that is significantly, or I guess 49.25 was their best before, so they're just a little bit shy of their personal best in the rhythm dance. But they're still happy. Our next team comes from France. 18-year-old Selina Fragi, 20-year-old Jean-Hans Fono. They qualified the Junior Grand Prix last season, final last season, coming sixth, also sixth at the World Junior Championship. They took the silver medal in Bangkok, week number 1 on the Junior Grand Prix. 65.81 personal best last year Junior World. Skating to Still Loving You, but the Scorpions, black in black.
Francis, Selina Fragi and Jean-Han Fourneau, they too on their second Junior Grand Prix of this series. And I think this team, Ted, just showcasing that they are ready to make the leap towards the senior rank, showcasing more maturity with every competition.
Yeah, and they're really quick in all their moves and transitions from one element to the other. If you saw in this twizzle, Selina lost just a bit of a balance on the third set, but she's held it together so well, so fast into the twizzles and the steps and the entrance in and out on the element itself. You can see they're just a really high-ranking, high-developed junior team ready to step into seniors very soon.
And so well caught, the little bobble within the third twizzle, but so well trained, so technically sound that she was able to catch that, within a split
Body
second.
core,
Only a
that
trained eye would
strong.
really see that.
Yeah, that strong body core just held it, didn't give in to that little bobble, but
Oh, great slow-mo. You can just see catching the toe pick on the outgoing edge of that rocker, that the key point, that an edge that the technical panel will be looking at as we head towards the latter stages. And as we've said on the other Junior Grand Prix this year, chance for the skaters are forced by the technical panels for the men to skate the women's steps and the women to skate the men's steps this season. And it looks a bit more equality between the key points this year. This was so good. I remember being blown away by it last year. You can only just see the tiniest of wobbles there, but such complexity even within the arm movements, so close. Really showcasing how well trained they are.
A level 3 for Selena on the twizzles, pardon me, and a level 4 for Jean-Hans. So just a little bit of a loss on that as we take a look at Karen Nari-Barrett, their coach, who does such a wonderful job, not just with this team, but with all our teams.
Absolutely.
Not afraid to sort of be innovative and creative in the choice of music and the choreography as well. Let's take a look at the rhythm dance scores. Their personal best is 65.81. Their season's best is 61.11. And 61.34. That will be a season's best for this team. And that'll put them currently in a second place, 6 points off the lead. And that's at Markelov of the United States. Our next team represents Brazil. Catarina Gudes-Thibault and Caden Oliver Dawson, both 17 years old. Second event this season, coming 14th in Linz, week 2 on the Junior Grand Prix. Their personal and season's best, 42.84. They'll skate to a medley from the Pointer Sisters.
I saw the look in your eyes.
Catarina Guedes-Tibau and Caden Oliver Dawson from Brazil, a team that was so happy to have achieved the Junior World minimum technical element score in the rhythm dance at their last event. So now they can move on, knowing that their season will last right up to the last IAC Championship for juniors.
Yeah, good execution on a number of the elements in this rhythm dance, particularly the twizzles, nicely timed. Good synchronization, nice and close. Both level 3, so missing one of the features, but still well done. I think there's some good energy in that program as well. Really cute at the end.
Yeah, and some fun little moments. And Caden, well, both performers, both really good performers. I was really mindful that Caden really gave some good eye contact to the judges as well, pushing some of the component scores.
Getting better every time out.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Ted, you can see the pink nail varnish on Katarina's nails. Just the ice dancer, so mindful to attention to detail as we look at the key points in the rocker.
Wow.
This is the stationary lift.
I'm going, good catch. I mean, you're picking up the details of the nails. Wow, that's awesome.
Takes an ice dancer to know what happens.
Yes, there you go. There you go. There you go.
Oh, there's the great slow-mo. And if the camera stayed on him, there's some brilliant energy to the judges. So the judges want to see that intentional commitment to the choreo, and these slow-mos really giving us the opportunity to see that difficult entry into the twizzles. So they've got A feature and B feature. That's a leg feature and the arm feature. The skaters have to have 4 different features from the 3 different groups to try push that level 4. And it looks like, fortunately for them, upon review, I think they're both coming in at level 4 now, so that's really good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's good.
And
Another personal
Ted,
and seasons. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that now that they've achieved that technical element score for Junior Worlds, I think it would be the first Brazilian ice dance team to compete at Junior Worlds, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Their personal and seasons best 42.84, and as all the scores have been a little bit shy of the personal best so far today, we might fall a little bit short on that as well. But overall, that was a pretty solid performance by this team, getting better every time out. Great personalities. They love to be out. So proud to represent the country. 41.10. That's a little bit shy of the personal best score. That'll put them currently, at least for the moment, into 6th place.
They are currently in 6th place.
Our next team comes from the United States. Final team in group number 2 in the rhythm dance. 17-year-old Carolyn Mullen and 19-year-old Brendan Mullen. This is the first Junior Grand Prix season, 2nd event. They were 7th in Linz, Austria, week 2 in this year's Junior Grand Prix. Their personal best is 50.48, meaning that in Austria. And they're going to skate to Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
Caroline Mullen and Brendan Mullen, brother and sister team, who impressed me so much in Linz in Austria, and even more so here. The judges, when it comes to the skating skills, some of the criteria is clarity of body control, and I thought, in particular, their leg extension, Caroline and Brendan, so matched. You can tell a team that has obviously had the exact same education and worked very hard to be so perfectly matched in every free leg movement.
Yeah, I was thinking all the way through this. I love Wham. I love this music. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, there's a documentary on Wham on Netflix. And the interesting thing about this is that it kind of parallels, not this team, but it parallels those athletes, that journey all the way to fame and the challenges that come along with that. So whether it's a musician or whether it's an athlete or an artist, it's kind of the same journey. So take a look at that. Really interesting. You'll love the music as well. You'll hear some of the background to how these songs that they skated to were developed.
That's cool. And that's the research that the skaters will be doing. And you can see this is a team that looks like they're really attentive to their progress. Even here, you can see that's one of the step forwards there into left forward outside edge, the commitment and understroke, the match in the free leg extension here. Obviously a team that trains hard and trains mindfully, as you see every angle tried to match up between them. I'm sure enhanced by the fact that they're brother and sister, so aesthetically and physically they're pretty well matched in body shape as well.
Yeah, no question. And it'll be interesting because, this team skated, I think, significantly better. I mean, they were great first time out, but their scores coming in here look to be much better than they were in their first competition. So,
well, I've got
the first team.
The report card from Linz, and they had no key points, so none of the 8 in their first Junior Grand Prix, and they've obviously gone and really taken on board that feedback from the tech panel. And here it looks like they've got 4 out of 8.
50,
so
50%. Yeah, they've gone from 0 to 50% of it. That's big. That's a big change.
Yeah. Ruslan Goncharov, their coach now, he former Olympic bronze medalist.
Well, they're looking to beat their 50.48, and they have done that. 55.50. That'll put them third. They're happy with that score. Wow, big smiles. And there is a look at your leaderboard. Top 5 teams so far after the first 2 groups. Nicely done. Well, it's a bit of a different setup here in week number 4. We're receiving the feed from Masai TV, and we won't be going to any replays during the ice resurfacing, but we will be taking a break to have a cuppa right there. Mark?
Absolutely. Cup of tea time, and then back for more brilliant skating.
Absolutely. We'll be back for the start of the final group in the Rhythm Dance Day 1 competition here in Osaka, Japan. Stay with us. We'll be back. Welcome back, everyone, to week number 4 in the ISU Junior Grand Prix from Osaka. The rhythm dance, the final group about to take to the ice. Mark, you're in Nottingham. I'm in Montreal. What did you do during the ice resurfacing?
Well, one of the amazing benefits of being home is that I can help out. Now, given how much I'm away from home with work, the fact that the dishwasher has now been emptied should make my wife happy that I'm back here.
Not much I could do in my hotel room here. I was pacing back and forth in the dark just to make sure I didn't make up. As we take a look at the start order for group number 3. But it's so wonderful. I don't feel any difference at an event. For those of our viewers from around the world who don't know, when we're both at an event, or one of us at an event, we are actually working in a room. We're not in the ring, we are in the building, but we are generally speaking in a production room where we work off screen. So why do we do that? Because we want to make sure that we comment on what you see. So we look at the screen to make sure that your eyes, the viewer, and our eyes are watching the same thing. So we will work off screen. So whether we are at home or whether we are on site or in a hotel room somewhere, we're working off the same things that we do normally at a competition. Now, the benefit to being at the event, of course, are to do the interviews of the winners, to talk to coaches and to skaters, and to just be in the environment, to be able to give you more a detailed review or input as to what's happening in that city. But other than that, Mark, I don't know how you feel when you're in your garage and I'm in a hotel room here. I feel the same as when I'm in the production room. We're just in a different city.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating, and it's interesting because last week when I had the good fortune of being in Istanbul in Turkey on site, I kind of forgot to take the opportunity to go out and check back in with eyesight because I was so conditioned to watching the screen and observing what was happening on the screen that I forgot to exploit the chance to see. And the only difference, obviously, being my appreciation for speed is increased when I go ringside. But other than that, like you say, it's entirely the same.
Yeah, no, it's certainly not the perfect situation. Being live on site is just awesome because you're in the event. You get to speak to the coaches and the skaters, and it's so nice to be able to, give a thumbs up to a team or to a skater, or help a skater out who's had a challenging skate and just have a little conversation with them and encourage them and whatnot. I mean, that is the best of the best. We love doing that. But if we're not able to do that, still the technology really allows us to continue to participate and bring some insight to the competition to you, the viewer, wherever you are around the world. I mean, viewers right now, they're probably watching from Brazil and from anywhere in South America to Asia to New Zealand and Australia. So we're all the same. We're watching on a screen, and so we kind of participate together. Is what we do. It's like sitting in the living room with a bunch of people watching, watching the skating. So it's kind of cool.
And it's interesting on the back of last week and every extra Grand Prix that we do together, Ted, then seeing the repercussions of who is watching and who is tuning in and seeing the skating community. And of course, our hope is that the skating community grows and the audience participation grows. But certainly, the skating community is so broad. And as you say, so many different nations, so many different people. And I suppose the internet denationalizes, I don't know if that's the right term, but it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can now watch and take part in the Junior Grand Prix and skating worldwide.
Well, the internet globalizes the sport, and that does not happen on senior because the seniors are owned by networks, and so they don't broadcast around the world, they broadcast in their country. So there's a number of instances that countries that don't have broadcasts don't see it. However, the ISU's done a great job in providing via YouTube these events, both in junior and in senior. So I think that has opened the eyes. We have a lot of viewers from around the world, and we don't really have the mechanism at the moment. I guess we do on social media. We really want to know where you're watching from. I want to know the countries that have no ice rinks, have never seen an ice rink, but you're watching this Junior Grand Prix, because before we used to have some emails and whatnot for people that would send in from around the world. It was just fascinating where people were watching from and how they actually got engaged and how they found it, right? So those stories are pretty cool, and we'd love you to tell the stories and send us social media messages, and we'll get them on air. And any questions that you have, or let us know where you live, whether you skated, whether you've been in an ice rink, and what fascinates you about the sport.
Yeah, and sometimes I see what's really endearing to see is some of the skaters they post on their social media. Those that are watching at home, and I've seen quite a few of the skaters have other normally young skaters from their respective ranks sending in cheering messages, or there are banners created from home to support these athletes. And so hopefully not only are there fans of the sport, but then there are aspiring skaters that are getting the opportunity to be further inspired by their training mates who are going out and competing in likes of this amazing skating nation in Japan.
Yeah. Well, it's been a really wonderful byproduct, if you will, of the Junior Grand Prix is the exposure to of the sport worldwide and the growth of new nations. So it's thrilled to invite any skaters from any country onto the ice on the Junior Grand Prix. So here we go, final group in the rhythm dance. And up after this will be the men's short program with a really strong field there as well. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch. Big screen at the end of the rink. Kind of a little as you're skating down there, you're looking at yourself. Okay, our first team comes from Israel. 17-year-old Elizabeth Tkachenko and 18-year-old Alexei Kilikov. 59.72, the personal best last season of the World Junior Championship. They were 11th in that event, and they'll skate to Oh Yeah, Desire, the race, all by yellow.
Team representing Israel, Elizabeth Tkachenko and Alexei Kilikov. And if you want a glittering technical score sheet, that's how to do it. Looking so far like every key point and level 3 on the steps. So an amazing achievement.
I was about to say, Mark, are you looking at what I'm looking at? Because I see 8 Ys on the screen. That's incredible. I haven't seen that all season. And
Nope.
yeah, we'll see if that holds because one of them is under review. We'll find that out in just a few moments. But great performance. Holy moly. Really, really strong as we see the father of Alexei, the coach, Alexei Kilikov Sr. What a great job.
Yeah, and a hug for Elizabeth Burson, a team that has been together for 11 years already.
Wow.
So
They've grown up together.
And that says such commitment from the skaters, the parents, the coaches, the long-term investment as we see the Twizzles. Picture perfect there, synchronicity on the first, the arm feature in the second. And here, one of those key points, just seeing if that outside closed mohawk is crystal clear on the edge set. And love these slow-mos, just getting to see the interpretation, and you can see the change. Music's not on now, but you can see, obviously, they're interpreting different parts of the music at different times.
The synchronicity
chance
throughout
to
the
get
program
Yeah.
has been fantastic. And the energy, and you look at the GOE scores, all of the pluses and high pluses, close to 2 in 3 of the elements. So they're going to have a pretty big score here, I think.
Wow,
The top
and such a good point there, Ted, because if you, you've drawn my attention to that GOE score, both getting a level 3 in the midline. That's nearly 10 points for that step sequence. That is hefty.
It is. It's amazing. 67.38 top score. Not sure if they'll make that. Maybe it's going to be pretty close. But regardless, had a great program. And there's a great score. 66.70. And that'll put them currently into second place at this point of the competition. You can see that it is less than a point away from Neset and Makarov of the United States. So it's going to be a battle in the free program. Wow. Well, the next team comes from Japan. 16-year-old Sarah Kishimoto and 19-year-old Suhiko Tamura. Coached by Roman Haganao and Mary Fonce Dubre. Skating to Mr. Robot and just get through the night.
Wow. Japan's own Sara Kashimoto and Atsuhiko Tamura. And got to say, Ted, the Ice Academy Montreal, how they come up with so many concepts.
Different.
1980s free reign. This music, not one that I've heard. I hadn't heard the track before, but there's been a whole clear concept delivered for Sara and Atsuhiko, and respect to them for creating something that not many would even consider, never mind develop as they have.
Yeah, interesting. And as I'm watching this team and not knowing what the scores would be, of course, I'm going, is this, as you British would say, a cat among the pigeons? I mean, is this a team that's going to, surprise people? We use it if they're on a fox among the hens or whatever it is. But, this team, I'm going, wow, this is a surprising team. They're so good, so unique and innovative and different. Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, and they explained to me as they're hugged by Benjamin Brisbois, one of their coaches, that they relocated to the Ice Academy of Montreal last year, and the music, Mr. Roboto, you can see that concept, and so the composition, the judges have to go when it's an intentional developed or original arrangement. I think they had that, and for juniors that's even not more impressive but more surprising, because so much time has to go into just the skating skills at this stage, and that of course I think can still be developed. I'm raving about the composition, but the flow and glide will still be the factor that they will work on, of course.
Yeah, and this team doesn't have any international experience except for the Bavarian Open this year, I suppose. They were 5th place, but that's it. So this is fairly new, but this is not fairly good. This is like really good for being fairly new. So we'll see where this puts them, but that was a really nice surprise.
Yeah. And I have to question the ending of the program. Oh, here at the stationary lift, great demonstration of flexibility and strength to hit that position from Sara, but then the final closing movement, here, thank you to the video replay for giving us this.
Yeah,
I wonder
perfect.
if Sam Schweinard was involved in this, because those tiny movements, that 3 seconds of work, I'm sure hours were spent on the development and the polishing of just that.
Great job. Nice surprise. And we'll see where this scores. They don't have a personal best score or a season's best, of course, first time out. So what will this be?
Anxious wait.
Well, it's a 56.97, and that'll put them into 4th place. A nice nod of approval by Benjamin. There is a look at your leaderboard, your top 5 teams so far. What a nice surprise. More to come. Anxiously wait for the free dance from that team. Our next team comes from France. 18-year-old Eva Bernard and 19-year-old Amedeo Bonetto.
Representing France.
Second team for Karen Hariber in this event. And we haven't seen this team this season, so this will be new as well. And they'll skate to Dirty Diana and Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Eva Bernard and Amadeo Bonetto from France. This is the 5th French ice dance team that we've seen on the Junior Grand Prix series this year, and just consistently good quality skating skills.
Yeah, no, so innovative and interesting. You never know what you're going to get from the French teams, and it's always something unique. Out of the 5 elements, 4 are under review, so they're taking a more detailed look at the twizzles, the rocker sequences, and the midline steps as well, so they'll take a little bit of time going through that. But I thought this is, for a team that doesn't have a track record, at least internationally at this point, it's a good first outing, I think.
Absolutely, and they said, you know, they were so excited. This their first international competition, first Junior Grand Prix, and to do that in Japan, which is, you know, obviously it's an amazing opportunity for them to come travel here and then compete in a nation which loves skating so much. Is really exciting for Eva and Amadeo.
Yeah, kind of the mecca of fandomhood, if you will, figure
Yes,
skating.
yes.
Yeah. And so interesting to come into this environment and all the different arenas they have and fans in the stands. And as you mentioned, tomorrow will be sold out.
Yeah. They're just slight change of edge on the inside counter, and it's that level of depth of edge here. Double twizzle. You can see,
there.
No disrespect to them, just slight wibble wobbles, slight lack of synchronicity. But the good thing, because they're taught by Karina Ribert and Mahil, and they train alongside the Selena Fragi and Jean-Han Fernot, they're in an environment where they'll be exposed to some of the best juniors in the world, so they'll know what to do. It's just very much experience and amassing that mileage to finesse to the level that their teammates have.
You can't avoid that process. That process is called time. And no matter, even when you start when you're really good, you still need time to mature into that top level. So that's just the journey everyone has to go through. Some faster than others, fair enough. They may have more access to ice and coaching, et cetera, but it just takes time. This team is young. It's their year. This is their first international competition, or second international now. So it's just going to take a bit of time.
Comparative to, we've just seen Kachenko and Kilyakov from Israel, and we said they had 11 years together already. So, you know, like you say, you can't amass time without just spending the hours at it. And so they're in good hands, though. They're in great hands to spend that time, if that makes sense.
And you can see Karen just working with them, you know, just putting things in perspective, and they're a little uncertain of how the performance was and what the scores are. And you know, for Eva, you can see her just doubting a little bit, not quite sure. And this is a process coaches have to spend a little bit more time with in their first time out internationally in a big competition like this, getting the feel that they belong. Let's take a look at the scores. 51.25. And that's a pretty good score. You can see Karen going, oh, that's okay. It's not bad. It's going to put them currently in the 7th place overall. But a good start for this team on the Junior Grand Prix. Well, the next team on the ice, the final team in the rhythm dance from Korea, 15-year-old Jinny Kim and 16-year-old Namu Lee. They surprisingly won the bronze medal in week 1 in Bangkok. They were absolutely thrilled. They did a great job. They're so well prepared by Aaron Lowe and Megan Wing out of Burnaby. And so this team comes in their second Junior Grand Prix. 56.30, their personal best. They'll skate to I Love Rock and Roll, and All She Wants to Do Is Dance by Don Henley.
Korea's Jennie Kim and Namu Lee complete the rhythm dance here in Osaka, Japan. And this team did so well, you said, Ted. They had a really strong technical element score in Bangkok, and that's what helped them in both the rhythm dance and the free dance to secure that bronze medal. Doesn't look like it's maybe being reviewed as favourably here. And then perhaps some of the grades of executions are a little bit less favourable. There were some mistakes, tiny mistakes in the twizzle, so less of a GOE boost than they had previously.
Yeah, I think they might have been a bit tight in this, you know, having been third.
Experience.
Yeah, and they want to come back. You get in this environment, you say, I like this, I want to be back. Let's take a look at the scores. For Jennie Kim and Namu Lee, 48.55. You can see Aaron just shaking his head a little bit, going, okay, wow, okay. But, you know, there were some things, and this will put the team currently in 9th place. A very bright future for this team, but lots of work yet to come. So it's just the start. As we take a look at the final standings after the rhythm dance, Leah and Artem, Elizabeth and Alexei, Selena and Johan's top 3 teams, all in the 60s, but quite a spread between those 3 teams, Mark.
Yeah, and then, wow, it looks at the top 3 maybe fairly safe, but a good fight beneath that too. And really good to see different teams, again, you know, the Israeli team, the Japanese team, some different approaches to this 1980s rhythm dance.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Well, that concludes our coverage of the rhythm dance from Osaka, week number 4 on the Junior Grand Prix. Up next at 18:20 local time in Osaka will be the men's short program. Make sure you join us for that. We'll be back right after this.